everybody, and welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly podcast. You heard that right. That's the DLLS Rangers Weekly podcast, now part of the All City Network. This is episode 1. Most of you guys, you loyal Rangers Today fans, this is where we are now. We're starting with a new one right here. Jeff, how's your first week been?
It's been good. It's been busy. The complicating matters is that my daughter had her tonsils out on Wednesday, and my wife was out of town. So I've been juggling. Thanks to Grandma for coming over and staying the night Wednesday and helping out Thursday while I did the new job.
How's Molly feeling?
Day one was okay. Yesterday was not good, and then she's feeling a lot better this morning.
Get some ice cream in her.
She's eating so much damn ice cream. It's unbelievable. Her teeth are going to fall out. But yeah, as far as the going over to alldls.com, it's been great. John, if you've watched the daily podcast with John Radigan and Abby Jones, John's a total pro and Abby's just kind of fun. And she grew up in the game with her dad, Todd Jones, the old all-star closer, and he's still broadcasting some Tigers games. So I think we've had good chemistry. I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you haven't gone over there, go to we're going to do it 5 days a week, not necessarily Monday through Friday like we're doing a Sunday show. We're off today, but good times. And then the writing's the exact same.
Right.
I mean, I don't call it the daily newsletter anymore. I think I call it the rundown. And you don't get it emailed to you. That's the biggest change from Rangers Today. So you actually have to go to the website. But if you were a Rangers Day subscriber, whether you were free or whether you were annual, you received a free trial of varying lengths depending on where you were in our cycle at Rangers Today. Hopefully it takes you through to the end of your 12 months. I think you get a free T-shirt out of the deal too. So it's not bad. They we're not trying to over at DLLS. We're not trying to run anybody out of business. We're not trying to run out of the morning news out of business or try to take down the ticket or the fan. We're our own thing. Yep. And if you listen to those guys and like them, well,
you'll like this.
You can like them both. You can like all three. We don't care, but we call our subscribers diehards. We're going to be doing live events, watch parties, stadium takeovers. And again, once the off season hits, we're 5 days a week. We're going to be covering all of baseball and trying to figure out how the Rangers are going to put this roster together. So it's fun. And then, John, I didn't hang out John to dry.
And I wanted to touch on that real quick because I'm not just only going to praise All City on that. I'm going to praise Jeff on this, and I want to clarify. A lot of you guys reached out to me immediately when all this broke. I've known about this coming since the All-Star break. That's when I was first told about it.
Well, but it was still kind of until really mid-August. I mean, it came together quick. Right,
and so and that's where it was. You guys have to understand, look, it's because of you guys that this is even possible. And I've said it all along. Me personally, I'm a guy that covers the Texas Rangers as a fan of the Texas Rangers. I've done that now. This is my 6th season. I get access you don't. I know I'm blessed to do that and all of that. But one of the best days in my life of doing this was unfortunately one of the worst days in Jeff Wilson's life, and that was the day that the unforgivable act of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram decided we don't want to cover the Texas Rangers anymore. He was let go, which turned out to be a blessing for me and a dark day for you. But we have known all along. Look, we stayed afloat for close to 3 years, and Jeff made a living from Rangers Today because of y'all. And it was because of y'all that he was able to do that and keep writing and putting out this content. But we know for one thing, we were building it up. We were going to make it more to do that. But when this opportunity came, when in any business, when you own your own business, sometimes someone comes along, they want your business and to take you. And it was great. And that's what happened. And they decided to bring me along for this one for sure. I might be doing some stuff on the back end too, just to help out. But look, guys, I'm good. It's been great. I've been so thankful to All City and to DLLS for keeping our show going. They wanted our show.
Yeah. And our YouTube channel has you can find the daily DLS podcast there too. Just trying to spread the word and and there's a lot to talk about as always with the Rangers and they just came out of Chicago. They won 3 games there, but
let's clarify this first though. We're going to clarify this. People were so confused when this came out yesterday. Travis Jankowski and Robbie Grossman were put on outright waivers. That does not mean they are not on the team right now.
Right.
That does not mean if they don't get claimed by somebody, they're gone. Now, there is a chance maybe they would be.
If they get claimed, they got to go. It's outright.
I said if they
waivers.
don't get.
If they don't
This
get
does
claimed,
not mean
right.
if they don't get claimed by somebody
Yeah.
that they're gone. This is what used to happen when after the trade deadline, there was a whole month where you could. A lot of players, Michael Young, all of them would get. You would clear them through waivers, and then you could negotiate another trade.
Well, the first trade deadline used to be called the non-waiver trade deadline.
Right.
Because you didn't have to players didn't have to clear waivers for you to trade them.
Sure. Yeah.
Then for the next month until August 31st, you had to put players on waivers. They're revocable. So if you put Ian Kinsler on waivers and somebody claimed him, you could pull him back.
You can pull him.
But if he cleared, then you could trade him to anybody. And that's how the Rangers kind of got Pudge Rodriguez to come back in 2009.
Right.
They got Jeff Francoeur the next year. They might have gotten Alex Rios that way too. I don't remember. But so it seems a little more unusual now, especially with what the Angels did last year.
Yeah, they just dumped salary.
Right. And
a lot of teams got better that we weren't expecting.
And some changes were made during the offseason to kind of circumvent that a little bit. But this is a procedural thing. It may, the Rangers are looking at the future here. They're
right.
If these two roster spots come open, then the Rangers will
probably
put in. Jacob deGrom needs a 40-man spot,
right?
But you could call up Blaine Krim,
sure, who's not on the
40-man roster,
right.
or Emiliano Teodo. Conceivably, you could call up our guest today, Malcolm Moore. Now that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
But Kumar Rocker, I don't think that one happens either. I think
we'll discuss that in a minute. Why it shouldn't happen, but
so anyway, and these are veteran guys
who could help a
and
team.
They could really help a contender. They know how to stay ready. Robbie Grossman was brought in to hit left-handers each of the last 2 years. He still hits lefties pretty good. So if you're a championship team and you look at your bench and you're like, gosh dang it, we really need somebody who can hit a left-handed reliever. Well, Robbie could be your guy off the bench. Jankowski, you saw the amazing play they made the other day. So he's a really good defensive outfielder, and he can run.
Right.
So you could pinch run him late in a tight ball game.
Or defensive replacement late if you want the best outfield.
That's how he was. Why was in the game when he made his amazing catch Wednesday night. So
and this timing is perfect because they have to be. Explain that they have to be.
They have to be on their new team by midnight or 11:59 on
tonight.
The 31st.
The 31st, which is tomorrow.
31st. That way they're eligible for the postseason.
If their team makes the postseason and they are in the organization by then,
it's the timing of it. It's 48-hour period that they're on waivers, and I wasn't surprised that it happened. I'll be surprised if they are both on the roster after the waiver period ends. I will be surprised if Robbie Grossman's on the team after this. I mean, we all like Robbie, and but he's not doing this team a lot of. He's not playing a lot. He's not. He's taking a spot that.
So he's
Rangers,
a candidate for DFAing if he doesn't.
They would just release him.
Okay.
But yeah, so they would. Anyway, they could use that. Somebody in the organization at AAA could use that spot.
Yeah.
And so I think that his days are numbered, unfortunately. Travis, he's such a great teammate and mentor to these young players. I think he has a chance to stick around because of that. But
if he's not claimed.
Right. So
both these guys are valuable and could really, Houston has had some outfield issues. I mean, I hate to see any of them go to Houston, the rival Houston Astros, but they've both been scrambling for some outfield help. What's his name is still not back yet.
Tucker.
Tucker's not back. And I'm sorry, either one of these guys could be great for defense, for any of them.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't delved into the benches of contending teams, but if you're slow on the bench, if you have shitty outfielders, Travis Jankowski is your guy. He really is. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, but
this is not a disparage to them at all. This is actually it shows a sign of respect to those guys.
100%.
100% that they've done this, and give them an opportunity maybe to make a run with somebody if it happens. If not, I mean, you would only do it to somebody you think might have a chance. And then Robbie, obviously, you're all right. Robbie's the one guy that may not really have a role right now. Jankowski can still be a late inning guy.
Well, I mean, let's say you want somebody to face left-handed pitchers. All right. I'd like to see Blaine Krim get some at-bats.
Sure.
You know, he's a guy who's
been
so hot since July. And if first base is going to be a position that might be in flux this offseason, you really need to see him and Foscue getting at-bats. So anyway, so we'll see what happens with them. The rosters do expand on September 1st.
So they get one player and one pitcher.
Right. The one pitcher is going to be Jack Leiter.
Sure.
You know, and that was another thing that caused some issues yesterday, some confusion. He was the 27th man for the
doubleheader
that technically wasn't a doubleheader, but because they had so many outs to record, they were granted an extra player. Both teams were an extra player. Jack comes up, he starts the second game, does better.
He's optioned.
He didn't. Not optioned. He was not on option. He's just added. And so he has to go back immediately after the game. If he had stayed, they would have had to recall him and then option somebody else. So the Rangers don't want to have a tired arm on their pitching staff because they're in the middle of a very long streak of consecutive games. So he goes
technically he's back in Round Rock.
He may be on the taxi squad. When we get to the ballpark today, I will not be at all surprised to see him in Arlington. But when Sunday rolls around and rosters expand, he will be recalled from AAA Round Rock, and then they'll find a position player who I'm assuming is going to be Justin Foscue, who's had a really good week here. Really, he's been really good the whole last month or so. Krim's been great. You know, so I think there's a possibility for some minor leaguers to get a look.
Right.
Teodo's an option because he has to go on the 40-man roster
before next season. He's a Rule 5. He's Rule 5 eligible.
Exposed to the Rule 5. So maybe you do it now, give him some relief innings. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. But it's kind of something that we've talked about on the Daily Show and that you were tweeting about the other night. Kumar Rocker coming to the major leagues. He is not Rule 5 eligible. He does not need to be added to the
argument. Let's explain this argument.
He's been so good in the minors. Obviously, in his AAA debut, 5 scoreless innings, 1 hit, no walks, 10 strikeouts. He's just been dominant.
Double-A, he's been dominant.
It's been unbelievable. So it excites people.
Sure.
Hey, bring him up. Get
let's get him here. Why not have the best players in the big leagues right now?
Well, keep in mind, and I've made this point, he's coming off of Tommy John surgery.
Yep.
The Rangers are going to try to cap his innings this year anyway. So, and pitching the major leagues is such a different deal. Every pitch is intense.
Right.
There's no more just 3-0, get him over fastballs.
Right.
guys are swinging 3-0 and you're seeing 3-0 sliders. It's a different game right now. You put a third deck on there. As cool as Kumar Rocker seems to be, he's going to be feeling something extra. Do you want that in his arm, in his system? Do you want him deviating from his mechanics? Whatever it is, and there's just some risks. Now, I will say this. If the Rangers, who are 8.5 games back of the Astros, get within, let's say, 4 or 3 with 2 weeks to go, then you might see him.
That was kind of the Wyatt Langford issue last year. They needed that bat, and the way he was, everybody wanted Langford to come up. It's like I don't think it'll happen. I know some of you are out there are convinced it's going to happen. Some of you are adamant, like John, that it shouldn't happen. I don't think it should happen unless there's a real need for him, assuming he continues to kick ass. The reason I'm saying this, first of all, he still has more starts that are happening. He's going to be in AAA for the next couple of, how much more do they have? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
They've got a ways to go. They go until late September.
Yeah,
they play 155 games.
Yeah, so he is going to make a lot more starts in AAA, which he needs to do, first of all. That's one thing. He's being stretched out, obviously. He's already pitching 5 innings, 6 innings. That's fine. The second part is, well, after that, so you're at least going to know he's up for the next few weeks. He's going to be making AAA starts. If he's still dominant, you're right, Jeff. If they all of a sudden they're four games back, and we're coming into 2 weeks left, and you might want to get a start from somebody who can get you win, you consider that maybe. But in my opinion, once he's done, you shut him down for a normal offseason. You let him go into it, guys. There is a lot of maneuvering that's got to happen this offseason. Guys on the 60-day IL come off and return back to the 40. Yeah. You got Rule 5 eligible guys that you've got to add to the roster. You've got free agents that are coming off. And so there's going to be all this until he makes the opening day roster or is ready to start in the big leagues, and you know he's going to be in that rotation. Don't use the 40-man spot because you don't have to. Let's say he goes to spring and has a good spring but not a great spring. Yeah. He's just good. He can go to AAA and get going while you still maneuver some spots to see. Maybe you catch like a Jankowski or somebody that you have to throw on that roster last minute, and they end up earning a spot for the rest of the year. Then you don't need him till you need him, and then he's here.
Yeah, I mean, at this rate, it looks like he's going to be.
He might make the opening day roster.
He might
for
be
sure.
The opening starter, but that'll be DeGrom, I think, depending on what happens with Evaldi.
But you don't have to add him to the 40-man till opening day.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Yeah, you've got a long time to do it, and
he'll be in big league camp.
There are free agents. I haven't looked at the list, but off the top of my head, Grossman and Jankowski are two, and then
pitchers are coming on.
Yates, I know there are some options involved, but those usually get waived. Evaldi might come off. Heaney's definitely coming off. So there are a lot of guys. Kelly is coming off. Chafin may come off. So there's going to be some roster turnover, some spots that open up. How many of these spots are going to go to Rule 5 protectees? I haven't looked at the list for a while, but I know Teodo's on there. Acker and Krim have been on there the last year or two, and
they can be free agents.
they're looking pretty good. Yeah, I think they can be minor league free agents too. So
absolutely. And then you got guys that are on the 40-man that are at the end that are always candidates to be DFA'd.
Yeah.
So you got to make a decision on them. Maybe you move them, cheaply and get them out for a minor league or whatever to clear the spot. Or maybe you do have to just DFA them, get them out of there and send them down. You don't know, but there's so much offseason stuff that – you know what the number one offseason thing that needs to happen right away?
Chris Young?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am so baffled by this. What do you think?
Well, that's kind of been I'm trying to think back to past John Daniels extensions, and they were kind of in this similar vein, off-season mode. One of them might have come before spring training one year, but I know it's pretty silly, that it hasn't happened. And the longer that he stays out there, honestly, the more his price tag is going to come up. I mean, once the season's over, what if he gets asked to interview for another job? I don't know if any GM jobs are going to come open, and then another issue.
He would be attractive.
Yeah. Bruce Bochy is under contract for next year, but Chris Young, his former player, is the one who got him off the couch and convinced him to come and all these good things. Are they a package deal? If you don't resign, if you don't extend Chris Young as general manager, what does Bruce Bochy do? Now, he seems like a loyal guy, but he's also 68, 69. He's going to the damn Hall of Fame.
He's a papa.
What does he have to? Hey, sorry Rangers, but hey, you don't take care of my guy. I'm not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of me throwing shit on the wall, but. It is an issue overhanging the team. So is the lack of a TV deal. If the lack of a TV deal is keeping you from signing Chris Young, then you've got real big problems.
Boy, I was about to say that's major financial.
They
issues.
Need to, I would think that Ray Davis, who
is a smart businessman, and I
fired John Daniels and anointed Chris Young to take over the organization. It looked like it was going to happen anyway, but he made it happen. Chris Young is his guy. Take care of your guy. Mm-hmm. You know what? I bet Ray Davis has $5 million sitting under his car seat.
Yep.
He's worth
glove box at least.
He's worth $3.1 billion. I think the last time I checked.
He owns a lot of that stuff around the ballpark.
He owns all the real estate around the ballpark. All those. He's got a stake in everything. He's 82 going on 83, I believe, and nobody's ever confirmed his age. The sun is setting, though. Not wishing anything bad on him, but god dang it, go out, have fun. Go out on top.
But but business acumen and some of those guys, maybe you think maybe he's thinking about selling the team.
I don't know.
That certainly wouldn't come out.
He would make a ton of money.
Oh my god!
Because the franchise is worth $3 billion probably,
and they paid about $500 million for it, right? Yeah. Out of bankruptcy.
And he has bought other ownership partners out of the original group, but
right.
Hey,
and don't forget though,
but who would buy the team? That's another question. Who would buy the team? These teams are so expensive. Who would you want to buy the Rangers? Would you want Mark Cuban to buy them, or would you want? I don't know. There's one of the Walmart family. They bought the big and Walmart. I think she lives in Weatherford, and there's the Dell Technologies money down there in Austin. Maybe that's the kind of money it takes now these days, unless you're going to have a big consortium of people
that come together,
kind of like it was when the Rangers were purchased this last time. So I don't know. Maybe Chuck Greenberg's got some interest again. I'd love to. I don't know. I'm not saying I'd love for ownership to change, because Ray Davis has spent money the last 2 years.
Yes, he's good. Everybody thinks he's cheap. He's not cheap.
He has a limit.
He runs it like a business. He doesn't like losing.
Doesn't treat it like a major market. I mean, the DFW market, I think, is the 4th or 5th largest.
Right.
They're about to have 8 million people in this area, and it's the largest market without 2 teams.
Right.
All the markets larger have 2 teams. It needs to be treated like that. You need to spend like the Dodgers. I'm sorry, you just do. If you have the money, you spend like the Dodgers. You can spend like the Yankees and Cohen. And I understand you want to spend as little of your money as possible, but at some point you're just gonna have to eat it, I think. And if you want this to stay on top, if you want to be known as the greatest Rangers owner in Rangers history, go spend the money. You saw,
and he might this offseason. Look, you got to understand, coming into the offseason, I give him some sort of look. He spent a lot of money the last couple of years, and they won a World Series. You also had some stuff that you thought on this roster that you thought you already had. You thought you already had a good rotation. You thought that you had 2 young outfielders that were going to secure spots in your outfield. You didn't plan on Carter getting hurt. You didn't plan on Langford struggling, being a big leaguer the way he did. I think they kind of sat back, but they didn't make it really well. And at the trade deadline, they were already kind of out of it.
Well, but if they weren't, just this popped in my head, because money is going to come off the books. We talked about the free agents.
Right.
We didn't mention Max Scherzer. He's coming off the books, and that's a big dent. That's a nice chunk of change. But if Ray Davis said, I don't want to spend to address the outfield, did that accelerate Wyatt Langford? Did that push him into the majors sooner than the Rangers were wanting? I don't know, but there
wasn't a ton out there actually.
Well, but still.
Well, are they in on Soto? No, probably.
I can't imagine that, but you never know. Who knows? But anyway, there are some things that have to happen, and we'll get to that here a little bit later, like after the season.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more.
What are you going to do with really the whole outfield? I think so. Anyway, we've kept Malcolm Moore waiting. I'm not very good with time zones, and so
listen. The team has won 3 in a row. The A's
so we got to get to them.
Yeah, the A's and Yankees are coming into town. I'll be out there. I don't know if I'll get out this weekend. I've actually had family in town this week, but I'll probably be out there Monday. If not Monday, then Tuesday. Look, they swept the White Sox. They're out of it. I mean, come on, let's just be realistic.
They are, and that's why, going back all the way to the start of this, that's why Jankowski and Grossman find themselves where they do.
Yep.
So.
All right, guys, we're gonna get Malcolm Moore in here. Texas Ranger first round pick. He's gonna come up right after this.